Hello everyone, so today we're going to be looking at this post from the Ask Programming subreddit called I'm a Fraud. It was posted a couple of days ago, got a bunch of comments, so I figured it might be interesting. As always, consider leaving a like and subscribing if you like this sort of stuff. Let's get into it. So, I just completed my 3-month internship at UK Startup. I don't think that's a thing, I think they're talking about at a UK startup, I might be wrong. Remote role. It was a full-stack web dev internship. All the tasks I was given, I solved them entirely using Claude and ChatGPT. They even in the end of the internship said that they really liked me and my behavior and said they would love to work together again. I'm a fraud, is the title, remember. Personally, I don't. If you've solved all of the problems they've given you and they love working with you, I genuinely don't see the problem. Before you get angry, I did not apply for this internship through LinkedIn or something. Why would that? I met the founder at a career fair accidentally, and he asked me why I came there, and I said I was actively searching for internships and showed him my resume. That's fine. Their startup was pre-seed level funded. I forget what that is. What is pre-seed level funded? I might use Google. They'll give me that crappy AI thing. It's often referred to, okay, so typically from friends, family. Okay, so basically funding, but not like official funding, probably by themselves. So I got it without any interview or something. Why do they keep writing something like that? Really annoying me. All the projects in my resume were from YouTube clones, lol. But I really want to change. I've got another internship opportunity now. The founder referred to me to another founder, okay. So I got this to you without any interview. But I'd really like to change and build on my own without heavily relying on AI. But I need to work on this internship too. I need money to pay for college tuition. I'm in the EU, my parents kicked me out, so is there any way I can learn this while doing the internship tasks? I mean, just actually learn the things you're doing. You know, if someone gives you a problem and you solve it with Claude and ChatGPT, just ask the tool to explain to you what it is you're doing. Like for example, in my previous internship, in a task, I used Hugging Face transformers for natural language processing. That's what NLP stands for, I'm sure you know that. I used AI entirely to implement it. Like now, how can I do the task on time while also actually learning how to do it? Like, consider my current task is to build a chatbot. How do I build it by myself instead of relying on AI? I feel like there's a lot to unpack there. I think they're overthinking this. This is just a tool. I mean, like I've just explained, I think you can literally just use that tool to build the things. And also, for an internship, I would say those are pretty big things to build. But yeah, let's see what other people are saying. Let me know your thoughts below as well. We've read the whole thing now. I don't really see an issue here at all, except for maybe they're being too lazy to actually learn the things that they're implementing. So let's see. AI will be the death of many junior developers, not because AI tooling is inherently bad, but because we will get the generation of coders that don't understand what's happening. Yeah, I think this is like the key issue that's sort of, I mean, worded very differently, but this was what I was saying. The real issue here is not them using that tool, but the issue is that they're not actually learning anything whatsoever, by the sounds of things. I like to just read the sort of base comment, so let's collapse that. You have to stop using AI and actually do the work yourself. That's how you build it yourself and learn. There will be no performance hit in the short term. There will be a performance hit in the short term, but you'll be a better developer for it. Or something. Oh dear. Honestly, that's not how I would approach this. If I was stressed out about getting work done, I would continue doing what works, but I would also try and just add that layer of actually trying to understand and learn. You know, your second year university, and you know, there's so many tools to learn now. There's no excuse to not learn now. Like, literally anyone can learn anything. So yeah, that would be my approach. I wouldn't like go cold turkey. You could maybe go cold turkey on some simpler stuff, but if you still need to do your work for the internship, just do the work. Literally just code. That's how you become an independent programmer. I'm a strong independent programmer. Sure, most programmers will still rely on things like Stack Overflow. I think this all happens because there's like this focus on productivity versus just like learning. At the end of the day, when you feel pressure to do something on time, you're just going to use whatever tool you think is going to get that done fastest. Sure, it's like instant gratification, isn't it? I've said this before. I feel like LLMs are like the They're like the TikTok of coding. They're the instant gratification of, yeah. Whereas TikTok is like the instant gratification of like media. I feel like LLMs is like the instant gratification of coding. You just want to build something and get it done, but you end up with a bunch of slop you don't understand at all. Using AI or any other tools to shortcut a learning project is like using a forklift to lift weights for you. Is that the correct analogy? I don't know, because I feel like you still... Yeah, I guess you still get the outcome of the lifts having been lifted, but you haven't actually developed your own muscles or skill set in this case. I think it works. Learning is a slow, patient process. You are limited in how much you can learn in between each sleep cycle. Very true. Sounds like a very sensible person here. So you can't really cram and get results. I disagree. I was always able to cram. Literally for like my GCSEs, I would just like, I read like my whole physics book on the morning. You know, those thin ones, not the big ones, the ones that were like, covered everything in the most basic form. There's also a lot of aimless messing around involved in the learning process, much more than the classroom homework format would suggest. You have to rest and take breaks, sometimes very frequently, where you are resting more than working in a given day, depending on what you're learning. There are thousands of mistakes you have to make along the way. Absolutely. It did take... I felt like it took me years to become a good developer, and I just don't know how I could have fast-tracked that. The only way you could fast-track that is by just, like, challenging yourself with bigger and bigger projects. But I feel like it takes time. Anyone who's sort of studied has, you know, say you've got a degree or something. I often found, you know, you'd study for the year, you'd get your grade at the end of the year, and I've always felt like the next year, everything like set in my brain. I still got good grades, but I always felt like it was the year after, where after I'd done all of the exams, where everything felt like it proper sort of got into my brain properly. So debugging, reading, whatever, in case programming, will develop any level of intuition. Yeah, honestly, I feel like I work sometimes with people who just don't have that sort of technical intuition, which is quite... I feel like that's one of the most important things. It's like, you don't need to remember the specific problem you solved and how you solved it. You just need to know, like, that intuition of what you think most likely that problem is, and then you can sort of get things solved really quickly. Again, I don't know how well I articulated that, but intuition does help a lot. You cannot sidestep any of these parts of the process. I do agree with that. There's like the 10,000 hour rule, you know, and I don't think you have to necessarily code for like 10,000 hours, but you do have to do a few thousand hours probably. If you are being pushed by the company you intern for to get results on time, by any means necessary, then do what you must be done. That's the advice I gave. Do this, and then learning is a whole other thing, though. If they want to invest in you learning, they don't. They don't care. It's going to mean slowing everything down to a crawl. They may be open to that, though. Investing some time in properly training a developer can really pay off. I just don't think this happens anymore, does it? Well, I don't disagree. I think there's places that allow you to develop yourself, but again, it's like they might give you some time off or some sort of training days and stuff, but even then I found it's still up to the individual to want to learn and improve. So that's fine if you use Claude or ChatGPT, but use them differently instead of generating code. Tell them to teach you the concepts. Pretty much what I said. I said mix it. Life, front and back. Yeah. The thing with tools like Claude and ChatGPT is you can get them to generate the whole solution for you. But if you really wanted to learn, you could just like sort of stitch the things together yourself, but just get it to generate the like different parts, you will, and then still stitch it together yourself. Or just generate the whole... I've always been one of those people, I like learning by example anyway. So even when I sometimes build something small, like a script or something, I would just get ChatGPT to generate the whole thing, copy and paste it. Then you have something that's working, hopefully, and then you can start modifying bits and just, you know, just rerunning the script and sort of playing with it. I think that's a good way. To be honest, what is it Feynman said about... I feel like I mentioned this sometimes. Feynman on learning. Let's get his quote. It was about learning it in an obscure way. Oh, that's the other thing. Teaching is something good as well, because it actually makes you articulate what it is you're doing. Anyway, I don't think I can find the quote. There you go. This was it. Study hard what interests you the most in the most undisciplined, irrelevant, and original manner possible. Basically, just play around with whatever it is you're doing, rather than just doing like the same boring YouTube tutorials. The important part of your job, the reason why I would hire you, is for the burden of responsibility. We've said this before on the channel. A software, AI, everyone's worried about, is never going to be responsible. It's always going to be people that's responsible. You can't tell off a piece of software. You can't hold it accountable. This is your code, your product, your work. You're expected to speak on behalf of it. You are expected to represent it, to know it, to understand it. You are the authority. I think this is so well said. Just this first paragraph. This is the part you need to be more worried about. Yeah, I really like this comment so far, although it is a whole essay that they've written. What will get you fired is if I ask you how it works and you say, I don't know, I'm just astonished as you are, frankly. That means you're not fulfilling the obligation I paid you to fill. I merely wanted a code monkey. I could have outsourced it without you. True. If I merely wanted code, I could have prompted AI myself and would have it faster than writing an email asking you to do the work. I agree. I gave the job to you so that you could be our resident expert in that thing. An answer from you like that means you've exposed your liability because it doesn't know what because you don't know what you have or where it came from, and the owner of that code might come knocking. AI is weird. These modern algorithms depend on gigantic data models. A forest, the algorithm can walk to predict the next symbol in a sequence. AI has no idea what it's telling you. This is true. It doesn't even know what words are. Also true. AI doesn't think. It's an elaborate ruse. So I've got a Newcastle game on at the moment, and just saw a red card. It's why AI can't do reviews. It doesn't discern from good, bad, and ugly, and you young kids seem willfully ignorant of an AI as it is. This is true. I think a lot of people misunderstand what it is. Let's see. So what does this mean? Open source, blah, blah, blah. I feel like we got the gist of this comment, right? I feel like the first part was good. The rest is sort of, we don't need to read that. And OP actually agreed. Let's give them a like. Very simple, actually. Just ask AI on every bit of the code you don't understand. This is exactly what I said. Now is like the easiest time ever to learn anything. And I know ChatGPT is now updated to say like, oh, sometimes we're wrong, which is fine. But generally speaking, on technical stuff like this, it is actually mostly right. And you can actually sometimes just ask, are you definitely sure about this? And then it will go back and think again. You should just become an AI coding master. Imagine saying using a calculator makes you a fraud. That's why our generation is cooked. Your generation is cooked. It does sort of give me that. Have you ever met those people who get good grades at school, but they don't understand what it is they're doing? I could never learn like that. For me, when I learned maths, I taught myself everything from a book, and I tried to work it all out myself from like a first principle sort of way. And I would keep looking at the answer at the back, and if mine was wrong, I'd keep thinking what I did wrong until eventually I got to the answer. And then that's sort of how I worked. And I feel like now whereas I knew people who would get really good grades, but they didn't understand what it is they were doing. They were just doing what they were told by the teachers. Always frustrated me. Anyway, that's kind of what LLMs are like. If you just sort of take what they spit out and you chuck it in your program, but you don't bother wasting like even 10 minutes understanding, yeah, you're cooked. The main thing is juniors are losing debugging skills. Yep. Not just juniors. But I guess, yeah. Just build stuff without using AI. Learn by doing. Instead of asking AI to do it, say, take on the role of a coding instructor. Can you teach me how to? This is a really good idea. Again, this comes down to the individual. Technology is neutral, and like you can get out of it what it is you want to get out of it. LLMs are the same. You're going to get a bunch of people who go, you need to put AI down and learn. We have seen that. But I want you to go back a couple of years in the sub and see all the I'm a forward comments with comfort of we just copy them from Stack Overflow. Code is still code, just not all our code, yeah. I don't agree about putting down your AI either. Just use it better. Look, I understand this. I fully love programming and personally don't see how I could take this route. But you say your parents kicked you out. If this is something that can... To be honest, I sometimes do it, you know? Sometimes you have those days where you feel lazy. And I always regret it. At the moment, I was building something with AI and I don't know if you guys feel the same. I just don't enjoy it. Like, I don't know. It makes you realize it's not just about building the thing. I think there's two groups of people in like the tech space or programming space. You have the people who just really like solving puzzles and they like programming and they like all the details. And then you have the people who sort of just want to get something built. And to be honest, I think I'm in the middle there somewhere. But I think like really recently, I feel like I'm shifting more over to just being interested in the tech, and sometimes getting something built is just like, I don't know. It's not the main. Yeah, I don't know. Again, I say this a lot, but I'm not sure if I articulated that well. Hopefully I did. Basically, the TLDR of what I just said is when you're just using AI to get something built, like production ready built, it's just not as fun as just sitting there coding things. For me currently, we go through phases. Just don't use AI, it's not that hard. Welcome to software dev. As you get more accustomed, you realize that code is just a third of the job. Yeah, literally. Like coders, this is the thing. I think there's different levels. When you're just worried about the code, I feel like you literally are just a junior. For me at work, I don't even worry about the code. It's about what do people actually want me to implement? What should I actually spend my time on? Yeah, how can we sort of improve processes to be more efficient, get more done? How do we stop bugs being it's all that sort of stuff. How do you stop problems occurring basically before they occur to make everything smoother? Writing the software is just like, that should just be the easy bit, if you will, I think, in quotes. Not always the case. Obviously depends what you're doing. Sometimes things are just more difficult. You know, I'm sure writing the code for self-driving cars or whatever is probably not the easy bit. I don't know. On top of it being detrimental to your development as a programmer, there's an actual security risk here. If you fed any source code to the AI, depending on the contract with the startup company, could justify legal action. This is true, but I don't know how they would really find out. Don't touch AI. No. Don't touch AI until you've learnt the ropes. No, just use AI to learn the ropes. Now I want you to know why his parents kicked him out. Yeah, why did your parents kick you out? Maybe you wrote a birthday card with AI. Good job. I've done that before. When ChatGPT first came out, I actually wrote a birthday card with AI, but I did mention it. But it was quite funny. That was like the very first time ChatGPT came out. That was before I think anyone in my family knew about it, but obviously everyone knows about it now. No lie, I've made a few C hash using AI. What do you mean a few C hash? I mean C sharp, sorry. I don't know. That was my brain just reading. But what do you mean I've made a few C sharp using AI? Let's see. Hopefully I'm not just being too repetitive. I'm just sort of seeing what people are saying. Yep. What else we got? Did you even study the code you handed in to understand how it worked? I have to admit, one time when I was really young, my mum helped me with a physics paper and used a word I didn't know what it meant at the time, which was vortex. And then the teacher asked me what vortex meant, and I didn't know. Ever since, there's a moment that still sticks with me, and I was like, I'm never going to be in that situation again where I don't actually. Yeah, I think it was just me doing homework the night before, and yeah, I was quite young then. Anyway, that's going to be it for this video. Hopefully you enjoyed. Leave a like, subscribe, let me know your thoughts, as always, and take care. Bye.